president of the SMCU wants to know, why isn't government doing the right thing for the employees in order for them not to demonstrate? President of Parliament says he is quite pleased with the information provided for the execution of the reopening of the airport on July the 1st. But first up, head of the Culture Department on St. Martin gives an outline of the Emancipation Day activity. Those are the headlines from Monday, June the 29th, 2020. This is SXM Daily News. I am Valerie Van Putten. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. And as usual, we have a packed newscast for you, so let's get started. In our first story, as St. Martin will be celebrating Emancipation Day on July the 1st, 2020, head of the Culture Department, Ms. Clara Reyes, gave an outline of the planned events that will be held on Wednesday upcoming. She spoke to our news department.
For this year, the theme is Sacred Legacies, Sacred Legacies, standing on the shoulder of giants. And that will take place at the Freedom Fighter Roundabout with an interdisciplinary performance as well as the official speeches. So we have King Stunky has a repertoire that he's going to share with us. We have a song from the group called Enough Respect, Thierry. Let me see, we have the community choir, we have some dancers, we have the Panam dance. So we still have an eclectic ceremony, but not on a grand scale as in the past. And that will take place Wednesday, July 1st, 9 a.m. until 10:30 a.m. at the Freedom Fighter Roundabout. And I have to really mention that the road will be closed off for traffic. So note that in your agenda.
Now, the Freedom Fighter Roundabout is the one going to
Point Blank Soccer Garden.
Yeah,
just behind Sundial School,
yeah.
Yes.
Sometimes some of us pass it and don't realize exactly which roundabout it is.
Well, we're hoping that the more events that we keep at them, we bring life to them.
Yes,
and if people are like,
exactly.
you attach a memory to it.
But that is not the only event.
Officially from the government, yes, that will be the only government created event.
Right.
There will be other events. I know Voices with Nkosazana Ellis.
She's doing something online.
Yes, she's doing a whole Zoom digital presentation. There's also Conscious Lyrics. We'll be doing something at sunset at Bellevue border, where the unity flag is there. Those are the two things I know of thus far.
Okay.
I haven't received any other information of any other groups really doing anything else. But for now, those are the other two things that I know about.
I know you were tweaking when I spoke to you.
Yes.
Yesterday, you were tweaking the kind of the schedule of the program. Will we be doing anything with our northern neighbors, the front side?
No.
Okay.
This time, normally they invite us to their event, but May 27 was smack dab in the middle of the lockdown.
Okay.
So I heard they had a very subdued ceremony. So hence, I know the government is planning to open the island on July 1st.
Right.
So, but even so, as we're keeping it still subdued and not, extravagant. And that will take place on a Wednesday morning at 9 a.m.
Okay. And in other news for you at this time, banker Mr. Alphonse Gums was installed as the new president of the St. Martin's Lions Club on Saturday last at the Paradise Hall in Cahill for the Lions year 2020-2021. It was the first time in St. Martin's Lions Club history that all three clubs, namely the St. Martin Alpha Leo Club, the St. Martin South Omega Leo Club, and the St. Martin Lions Club, joined together to keep their installation ceremony. The Lions' new president told the gathering that his journey with the Lions Club started since 2002 and that he was honored, proud, and privileged to be the club's 50th president.
I stand before you this evening, honored, proud, and privileged, elected to serve as the 50th president of the St. Martin Lions Club. How did I get here to this moment? My journey to this moment started in 2002 when I accompanied my mother, the late Mrs. Stella Gums, to a Lions event. At that event, she was honored by the Lions Club for her service to the community of St. Martin. While it took me a few years to finally decide to take this challenge, to serve the community, it is a decision a happy I make. Special thanks are extended to my sponsor, past District Governor like Claudius Mukampa, Progressive Jones Fellow, and my unofficial sponsor, former like Emilio Jansen, for the confidence and support provided to me. I joined this club as part of the class of 2012, along with President Orley and 2 other members. Since joining this club, I have served for several years as a member of the board, as well on several committees within our district. I also had the opportunity to work with our labor movement for the past 6 years as a labor advisor for the Omega Labor Club. Our linguistic year ahead, Martin Luther King Jr. said, and I quote, "We are not the makers of history, we are made by history," unquote. With that said, my theme for this linguistic year is reflecting on 50 years of dedicated service and commitment to our community. And this is my goal. This year, we will continue to focus on the core areas of Lionism and more. Namely, we touch on obesity, hunger, diabetes, environment, cancer, youth, and seniors. Programs and projects in these areas will be part of our program. As members, you'll see a change in our meeting formats, whereby we will have both in-person and online meetings. COVID-19 has changed the way we usually provide service to our community, and it will have an impact on raising funds to continue carrying out our core duties of service. We will have, as a club, to orchestrate unique ways to meet our goals. I am aware that the year will have stumbling blocks and challenges. Although these challenges do seem insurmountable, I know as we have, and as part of who we are, these challenges will be met by us. Failing to provide such care and meet our goals means that we would have fallen short of our commitment to serve. Building our club's future leadership is also part of our goal, where we would like to see individual growth of our membership, both in Lionism and professionally, and that will be a key to our continuity of our club. Lionism is known as the best kept secret of serving. This year, we are planning to expose that secret by enhancing our visibility through more usage of various social media platforms, newspapers, road signs, etc., etc. On December 7, 2020, the St. Martin Lions Club will be celebrating its 50th anniversary. As part of our anniversary, we are planning to celebrate and honor our past presidents throughout the entire year. We also are planning to have a grand celebration in December to mark this historic achievement.
And we will have more of the St. Martin's Lions Club installation ceremony in tomorrow's edition of SXM Daily News. And at the virtual Council of Ministers weekly press briefing last week, Minister of Tourism, the Honorable Ludmila de Wever, speaking about the reopening of the airport and welcoming back visitors, she was being queried by a reporter as to whether the government is not concerned that we may be rushing the safety of our residents on the island.
Absolutely. We are concerned about the cases that are increasing in the world. I am also concerned, the rest of government is concerned, that we have an economy that needs to restart, that needs to get back going. We have a cruise industry that will not start until October, and it has an effect on Phillipsburg and everyone else that is involved in that industry. So we're going to go to transportation, tour operators, restaurants, vendors, it is a huge group that is dependent on the island being opened back up to tourism. So we cannot afford financially to be closed any longer. And it has been a very, very hard, tough discussion, negotiating back and forth with VSA, because they realize that their responsibility is for keeping the public safe. And my responsibility is for making sure that our economy is thriving, or functioning at least, or open. And what is important to make a note of is that if we don't have any money, we also don't have any way of taking care of our medical bills. So it's all so connected that it has been a lot of negotiating, and we have found our midway ground, where we decided that we will be as strict as possible with the entry requirements to the island, because our tourism base is over 70% dependent on the North American market. And that is the reality of it. We are aware that Curaçao and Bonaire are considering closing the doors to Aruba and St. Martin, but we are in solidarity with Aruba because of the fact that our main tourist base is American.
And still on the topic of the reopening, a meeting of Parliament on Monday morning to discuss the set guidelines for the reopening of the destination to international travelers did not go ahead as planned. However, Monday morning, members of Parliament headed by the Honorable Chairman of the entity visited the Princess Juliana International Airport, at which time they received first-hand information as it pertains to the precautionary measures being established for a safe reopening of the airport to receive international travelers. Speaking to PGD2's news department, the chairman of the Parliament of St. Martin, Rolando Bryson, said that he is quite pleased with the information provided in preparation for the execution of the reopening of the airport on July the 1st. Armed with the information provided by representatives at PJIA, the Member of Parliament believes that lawmakers can now participate in a more meaningful meeting in connection with the subject. That meeting, which will also have in attendance the Honorable Minister of Health, Social Affairs and Labor, VSA, Richard Panafleck, is to take place on Tuesday, June the 30th.
Well, the thing with COVID-19, it's always an evolving thing. The announcement to reopen on July 1st was, of course, about 3 weeks ago. But since then, of course, we've seen the numbers spiking in the U.S. And that's the thing. You get new information, you make new decisions. So I believe that there are going to be restrictions put in place with regards to those areas that are very high risk. Of course, another thing that we did is that we imposed that everybody must have the health certificate from before. What I want to caution the public of St. Martin is this. Since COVID-19 is not something that's going to disappear from the world now or tomorrow or perhaps even 12 to 18 months from now. It is not a matter of whether we're going to just reopen or not. We have to eventually reopen. The date of July 1st is just a soft date. It does not mean that we're going to have a bunch of flights from the U.S. coming in. Actually, on the contrary, we only have about 8 flights scheduled so far for the entire month of July. It is a very, very slow, very cautionary and safe reopening. So we're not opening as massively as, for example, Aruba, Antigua, and Jamaica have. We want to get there, but we want to get there when we have all the safety measures in place. But keep in mind, in order for airlines to schedule, you have to set a reopening date because the airlines need 5 to 6 weeks to program their schedule, to sell the flight. So what you're actually going to see is not on July 1st, people coming in, but you're more going to see the airlines coming around mid-August, the end of or early September. So about 6 to 8 or 10 weeks down the line.
And still to come, President of the SMCU wants to know why isn't government doing the right thing for the employees in order for them not to demonstrate. We'll have the details of that story and much more when SXM Daily News returns.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
This is SXM Daily News, and welcome back. President of WIFO, Theophilus Thompson, says that when Holland signed the treaty number 1 on the list was to eradicate poverty worldwide. Now the Dutch is talking about imposing salary cuts. They are going against their own treaty that they signed off on to eliminate poverty.
Number 1 on the list is no poverty. That is, get rid of all poverty in the entire world. So when Holland is imposing cuts in salaries, they are going against their own agreement and their own treaties that they sign off to eliminate poverty. Because that would only bring hardship and poverty on the people and the workers on St. Martin and the rest of the Netherlands sector of the kingdom. So we are totally against, and we have informed our government and our parliament, and I would say they have now coming to terms with what we have been saying is a reality, and they are now taking our proposals and our suggestions to their kingdom partners. And hopefully, within short, we will get a declaration from Holland withdrawing the conditions that they put on St. Martin in particular to receive funding. And as my brother mentioned about reparation, they owe us money for years and years, from the 16th, 17th, 18th, up to the 19th century.
Meanwhile, President of the Windward Islands Chamber of Labor Unions, Claire Elshot, says that when State Secretary Knopf saw the manifestation on the islands, she hopes he understands that his knee has to come off the neck of our ministers, and she is imploring the workers to keep the manifestations peaceful and respectful, with our goal of achieving what they have set out to do. President of the SMCU, Lutzen Evers, also interjected and wants to know why isn't government doing the right thing for the employees in order for them not to demonstrate.
So when our good state secretary, Mr. Knops, see the manifestations that are taking place in St. Martin, or in Aruba, or in Curacao, I hope he do understand that his knee have to come out of the neck of our Council of Ministers. The fact that we have manifestation, that's our rights. And I would like to implore on the workers to be able to keep our manifestation peaceful, respectful, and with our goal of achieving what we have set out. Therefore, in saying that, I am in solidarity with the unions in Curacao. Regretfully, I have to say that the unions have all indicated to us that the development that is taking place in Curacao is not supported by the unions. And I would like to explain to the workers, to our COM, and to everybody that we in St. Martin would not support those type of actions also. So we are continuing our manifestation based on the violation of our human rights, but in a respectable and peaceful manner.
Yes, I would like to interject on the answer that Sister Claire gave about why the employees don't stop the manifestation. But now I could turn it around by saying why government don't do the right thing for the employees not to manifest. So if the right thing is done, if the rights are being respected, if the working conditions are being respected, as is laid down in the agreements, we will not be manifestating. There is absolutely nothing for us to do because everything will be according to our agreements. But by you going and accepting condition unconditionally, I do not know what that means, accepting a condition unconditionally. Claiming that you will respect the rights of the people, claiming that you will respect the laws of the land, claiming that you will respect the international laws, claiming that you will respect the European laws and the United Nations laws, but yet you forcing to implement the cut. So my question is, how you plan to do that without getting people rebelling against it? So government is the one who has to do all in their power for this not to occur. That is my statement.
And member of the anti-poverty platform, Alberto Butte, also speaking about the proposed cost-cutting measures, says that this is completely in violation with the decolonization agreement that exists between the Dutch government and the islands. He says that the Dutch have us fighting with each other. He expounds.
This goes completely in violation with the decolonization agreement that exists. The Dutch government is indirectly using a measuring stick of financial pandemic to really impose her will. First, she set up the CFT. Thereafter, now she said, listen, she wants even more stringent measures to be implemented, and whereby now she will be able to bypass the CFT and to have our local officials to give in even more the rights. But one of the things that the Dutch government is doing is make us fight one against the other. She was very good from 1948-54 with the setting up the Netherlands Antilles in putting Aruba, Curaçao, and St. Martin and the smaller islands, first to fight Curaçao. And we continue bickering among ourselves. Then her focus has been to now make us on St. Martin or those in Curaçao and Aruba to fight against themselves. And you could notice in all of these strategies that she comes in and plays such a clever role in then coming in with a saving package whereby both sides that she make fight loses their true position. We are not realizing that. And I'm calling upon entities on St. Martin. First of all, government comprised of coalition parties. Parliament consists of political parties that hold seats in parliament to stop the bickering, stop the fighting. Why I'm saying this? Because as long as we continue to fight against each other, the Dutch government is making inroad into our pockets, whereby these very same pockets we have to feed our children. There will be nothing left over for our children and grandchildren by the time we finish one another.
Now, turning to our weather forecast for today, Monday, June the 29th. Pockets of moisture associated with a weak low-level trough and an approaching tropical wave will increase the probability of showers as they move across the region. Additionally, the concentration of Saharan dust over the northeastern Caribbean will continue to fluctuate through the next several days. Persons with allergies and or respiratory illnesses should continue to take the necessary precautions. Seas are expected to peak near 6 feet during the next few days. So the outlook through Wednesday midday, partly cloudy to cloudy with a few passing showers possible. Now let's turn to your 3-day forecast. And still to come, Member of Parliament wonders whether the trust fund is a loan or a grant. And we'll have the details to that story and more when SXM Daily News returns.
Make use of Web Mobile Banking with easy access and direct usage of face recognition, PIN code, or fingerprint. Download WIB mobile banking app and make your transaction from anywhere at any time. For more information, visit wib-bank.net/quick-login.
And as we continue now with more news, Member of Parliament Mr. George Ponteflet says the guidelines for the trust fund is 18 pages long. He is wondering, however, whether the money is a loan or a grant. According to the MP, the Dutch is planning on sending an entity to look into the books. The Member of Parliament was speaking at the time exclusively to our news department.
550 million was approved, placed in a trust fund for the government for St. Martin in order to do the recovery. To date, as we speak, because of the World Bank intervention or because of the World Bank being placed as intermediary between St. Martin government or the people of St. Martin and the fund, there is what you call a guideline that has to be followed by the government of St. Martin, or let me put it this way, the NRPB, in order to access those funds. What I did on my own, I did some research and found out that those guidelines are 18 pages long, and I went through each page because my thing is, in the beginning when I started reading the document, it spoke about a loan. But eventually, when I got to the bottom, almost the last page, it explained also grants. So when I read that, I said, well, okay, I can't go that area because my argument was going to be, I'm going to see and make sure that they are also following the guidelines. Here's the problem. They're planning to send down what you call an entity. An entity. Who that entity is, who does it consist of, we don't know. Why do I say this? During a debate on May the 15th in the second chamber, I heard one of the members of the second chamber state that they should think about sending down 200 persons to look into our books. And we're talking about not only St. Martin, but also Aruba and Curacao. When I heard it, I smiled because I said, how would that be possible? But now I heard from the Prime Minister that they have this entity, which has been ongoing for 2 months now, that they plan to send to St. Martin in order to ensure that the liquidity funds that is submitted to us and also the delays of the NRPB or of the projects are looked into.
And as we end this edition of SXM Daily News for this evening, the Special Robbery Unit is currently investigating an armed robbery which took place on Friday, June 26, 2020, at a restaurant on the Welfare Road. The police on the scene were informed that a male dressed in dark clothing with a mask entered the establishment brandishing a firearm and demanding the restaurant's daily earnings. The suspect then fled the establishment on foot towards the K-Bay area. The St. Martin Police Force is asking the community to be vigilant. They are urging the persons in the community who may have witnessed this or any other crime to come forward with any information that may assist in finding the culprit. A search of the area was carried out by the patrols, but the culprit was able to evade arrest. The detectives investigating this armed robbery case are asking for a witness or witnesses to contact the station at 542-2222, so 542-2222, extension 204 or 205. And in the ongoing action plan to suppress vehicle theft on the island, the St. Martin Police Patrol, while conducting a general traffic control, stopped an orange Kia Picanto on Thursday evening that turned out to be stolen. Patrol stopped the Picanto on the EC Richardson Street at approximately 11 p.m. During the inspection of the vehicle, it was apparent to the officers that the VIN numbers were tampered with. Unable to provide a valid explanation, the driver with the initials CJU was immediately arrested and taken to the police station for further questioning. After being questioned, the suspect remained in custody pending further investigations. And with that, viewers, brings us to the end of this edition of SXM Daily News for this evening. I am Valerie Van Putten, thanking you for joining me this evening. And just a reminder that this and other programs are available online. Simply log on to stmartinmediacenter.com for viewing. And on behalf of the SXM Daily News team, we thank you for watching and plan on meeting you right back here again tomorrow.